Hi everyone, my name is Brandy. I'm the founder of Wake Up Beautiful, and I've been in the aesthetic industry for almost 25 years. We are located here in beautiful Southern Orange County, California. And one of the most common questions I get from the patients that come into our clinic is, what's the difference between Botox and Daxxify? They're both wrinkle relaxers. They treat the same areas of the face, but the science behind them is actually quite different. Daxify uses a completely different stabilizing technology than Botox, which I think you're going to find very interesting, and that innovation may actually change the way you think about wrinkle relaxers. So today I want to break down for you what wrinkle relaxers actually do, the real difference between Botox and Daxify, and what patients should understand before choosing one. Okay, so today we're going to talk about what wrinkle relaxers or neuromodulators actually really do. What they do is they temporarily relax the muscles that cause our expression lines. So anytime you see, these pesky crow's feet, those muscles that contract the skin here and cause skin folds that we don't like the 11s or horizontal lines on our forehead, that's because we are using expression, and over time that creates lines and wrinkles. So what the neuromodulators actually do is they are going to relax those muscles, and the skin gets a chance to smooth out and reset. The goal is for you to still look like yourself, but just the softer, more refreshed, I went on vacation look. Now, here's something a lot of people don't realize. Botox is actually just a brand name. There's 6 neuromodulators on the market, and they're all FDA approved, and they all work. Botox was the first one. It's been around for decades. Then there was Dysport, Xeomin, Jeuveau, Daxxify, and the newest one is Letybo. They all use the same core molecule, which is botulinum toxin type A, or the same active ingredient, which means that the basic mechanism is the same. They all temporarily block the signal from the nerve to the muscle. And when that signal is blocked, the nerve relaxes. And when the signal is blocked, the muscle relaxes. So this is where things start to get different now that we've covered all the things that are the same about the 6 neuromodulators. But how they start to get different is how the product is formulated and stabilized. Botox and the earlier wrinkle relaxers used proteins to help stabilize the molecule. Daxify does something very different. It uses peptide technology. Now, peptides, you've probably been hearing about them. They're everywhere right now. What they are is they are actually little tiny chains of amino acids. Think of them like little messengers in the body. They help signal things like repair, regeneration, collagen production. And so that's why you've been noticing them being used for skincare and regenerative medicine, because they help the body communicate with the skin. So seeing peptide technology incorporated into injectable treatments is very exciting and very fascinating. Now, Daxify uses this peptide technology as a stabilizing system. The molecule attaches to the nerve receptor a little differently, and that's one of the reasons the product has generated so much excitement in the aesthetic industry. So traditional wrinkle relaxers like Botox typically last around 3 to 4 months. They say they last up to 4 months, and retreatment is usually around the 3-month mark. But in clinical studies with Daxify, many patients have maintained results closer to 6 months. Some studies showed that about 80% of patients still had visible improvement at the 6-month mark. That's significantly longer than what we've seen historically with the other neuromodulators on the market. And of course, who doesn't want to look refreshed for longer? Now, keep in mind, every patient's going to be different, and there's other things that contribute to it, like the muscle strength of the patient and their metabolism. You've probably heard people talk about that. If they exercise a lot, they do a lot of hot sauna, perhaps their metabolism is higher. How expressive someone's face is. But the potential for longer duration is definitely one of the reasons that Daxify has created so much excitement in this space. Here at Wake Up Beautiful, we primarily use Daxify, and I personally love the innovation behind the technology. I think it's a major benefit that we have, that as medicine evolves, we as the consumers get the benefit of those advancements. And one thing that I personally really appreciate about Daxify is that their formulation using the peptides makes it non-reliant on human blood-derived components for stabilization. So that's something that you might not have been aware of, that all the other neuromodulators on the market use human blood albumin, but Daxify doesn't. And I also love what I like to call a 2-for-1 benefit. Of course, we're relaxing the muscles that create the wrinkles. That's what neuromodulators are designed to do. But the extra benefit is that the peptides are communicating with your skin, causing it to regenerate. So you actually get healthier, more refreshed looking skin as well. And that's kind of known as this Daxify sheen. Their skin looks smoother, their complexion looks more radiant. So now you're not just getting softer, more relaxed muscles with less expression lines, but you're also improving the quality of your skin. For patients who prefer it, we also at Wake Up Beautiful carry Xeomin. Xeomin's known as a very purified wrinkle relaxer. But overall, I tend to gravitate towards products that represent the next generation of science in aesthetic medicine. If you ever find yourself here in Orange County, I would absolutely love to meet you here at Wake Up Beautiful. We specialize in natural looking aesthetic treatments, helping you to look like the very best version of yourself, never overdone. If you enjoy learning about aesthetic medicine and how to age beautifully and naturally, think of me as your personal, well-informed girlfriend in the know, and make sure to subscribe because I'll be sharing more conversations just like this. Here's to waking up beautiful.